day, RK Figs here, coming at you today with the first video of the season. It is May 31st, and I wanted to share with you some amazing tips for your fig trees. I got 10 tips, and what you want to do is you want to make sure you follow these tips, and you will have a great fig season with lots of figs. Guys, if you're enjoying these videos, please follow, share, like. Don't hesitate to leave me any comments. If you don't agree with anything I'm saying, let me know what it is. Let's talk about it. Or if you know something that I failed to mention about a specific topic, let me know as well. All right, here we go. Okay, so the first tip is something that I do here because I don't have space. But it's something I strongly advise you not to do, and that's don't crowd your figs together. Okay, crowding your figs together is very, very bad. And the main reason that it's bad is it prevents your branches from getting the proper sunlight. So if we take a close look at our branches, we could see that when one branch overlaps another, it creates a shade on the other branch. You can't see it here right now because of where the sun is, but I know for a fact that earlier in the day this was causing some shade. Okay, and that shade will prevent these figs from forming on these branches. And you could see a branch here. It has a fig, and you could see a branch, the one behind it, that I know at some point during the day it still has a fig, but you could see it's significantly smaller and behind. So the sun is your best friend, especially when it comes to fig trees. Okay, guys, the next tip I have is look at your fig tree. And I don't mean just glimpse at it. I mean really have a look. Grab the leaves, take a look at them. Notice any weird things on the leaf. This leaf is perfect. This one has little dots on it. Why? Okay, there's great resources out there on the internet. You can Google anything. Look under the leaves. Find out if you have brown. Take a look at your figs. If you have any figs, you notice these markings. Okay, I know exactly what these markings are. They're actually sunburn. Okay, that's because I gave my figs an early start, and this part of the fig was not exposed to any sun, and then all of a sudden it got blasted with sun. Find out. Look here. Why do we have this? Well, probably this branch was sticking out, and when I was moving the tree, I broke it. Get rid of that. Don't leave any hanging broken branches, because what those will do is they will continue to rob energy from your fig tree and slow down its production. So tip number 3 is have a good look at your soil. Okay, how dry your soil is a good indication of, one, how much water your tree is getting or not getting, and 2, if it's root bound. Generally, when you see this spacing here, what it means is that there's so much roots down in this pot, and they're sucking up the water really quickly, and it's pulling the soil in like that. So one thing that I would do here is, and you don't want to root prune now. That's usually done before the tree wakes up or right at the end of the season. But you need to make sure that you keep your water up on this tree, or the better option, if you have space, which I don't, is to up pot this. So you put this in a bigger pot and you add more soil and you give those roots more room to grow. Okay, so tip number 4 is don't let anything other than your fig tree grow at the bottom of your pot. Seeds are flying and weeds are going crazy, especially this time of the year. And a lot of times you'll start seeing things like this growing at the bottom of your pot. And what this could be doing, okay, depending on the plant, is robbing your soil of the water that your tree needs, the nutrients that your tree needs, and everything that your tree needs. So you don't need anything slowing down the production of your fig tree, because your fig tree, especially if you're in a cold climate like mine, is struggling because it's in a pot, and it's struggling because it has a very short season, and it's struggling with cooler nights than what it's supposed to. So it's got enough struggles. It does not need any struggles from things growing at the bottom of the pot, or at the top of the pot, and competing with it for nutrients. So get rid of anything like this. Okay, so tip number 5 is nutrients. Nutrients, nutrients, nutrients. I can't stress this enough, and I know I've mentioned this so much in many of my other videos. Your fig tree will not produce on water alone, okay? We can't live on water alone. We need food, and so do your fig trees and any other thing that you plant as well. So you got to know what to give your fig tree and when. And for that, I have an amazing video, and I will link it in the description below. Watch that. It's a game changer, and it will really help you get lots of figs ripening on time. Guys, tip number 6. Take a look here and you'll see a lot of these wires, okay? And this is a drip irrigation system, and it's really, really quite easy to install, okay? I don't have a video on drip irrigation, but there are tons of videos out there on the internet. I highly recommend you watch one and you get it done. There's a lot of simple ones that you can just connect to a garden hose, and you put a battery and a timer, and every day at a specific time it will give off as much water as required. And you can adjust this knob here so that, you know, if we go back to the case below where that tree needed a lot more water than this tree, you can adjust it up, and if it doesn't need a lot of water, then you can adjust it down. And that consistency, you know, it's kind of like, I compare it to us as humans. Every day we kind of have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or some people have just 2 meals a day, or whatever it is, but that consistency is something that's very important, and your fig tree is going to love that too. So drip irrigation system was a big game changer for me, and I know it will be for you. So if you can get that done, please go ahead and do that. All right, and tip number 7 is right over here. It's your planting medium, okay? Don't use garden soil for your potted fig trees. Get a planting medium. Different people recommend different ones. I used to sit there and do a mix, and I found lately that just using this Pro Mix HP is doing a great job for me, along with my fertilizer program. So I highly recommend this one. There are other ones out there. This mycorrhiza is supposed to do wonders for your fig trees, and my fig trees always do really well with this planting medium. Right, tip number 8 is kind of related to one of the other tips, but it's so deadly that I wanted to put it on its own, and that is ants. Okay guys, ants can be the most deadliest thing for your fig tree. They will plant scale on your fig tree, and they will do all kinds of nasty things to it. I have a video. I will also link that down below. You should definitely watch it, and especially if you have scale. All right, and a lot of ants, what they do is they'll start planting certain things in your grass, between your interlock, wherever they can, and they'll be at the bottom of the ground feeding on the roots of these things that they're planting, and then they'll bring scale and put it on your fig tree and all kinds of other things. So avoid ants. If you do see any ants whatsoever, right away, ant traps or ant spray. Figure a way and get it done. I use these ant traps. I will leave a link down below, and they worked great for me in the past. Okay guys, my last tip that I'm going to provide you with is whatever fig trees you have, okay, especially if you only want to have a few fig trees, make sure you get the right fig tree for your area, okay? A lot of places like mine that have a colder climate are going to want to have a fig tree that produces breba. Okay, look at this. This tree is loaded with breba. I'm going to tell you what kind of tree it is in a minute. It's new in my collection. Okay, and the other thing that I will tell you is, especially if you don't have a tree that produces breba and you live in a cold climate, get a tree that produces its figs early. There's no sense of going out there and paying all kinds of money for one of these premium figs like Black Madeira or any other premium fig that takes forever to ripen, when you won't be able to get the figs off of it early enough to enjoy. Okay, now getting back to this, if you have a greenhouse or are able to give your figs a head start, then maybe you don't want a fig tree that has breba, because the breba will slow down the production of your main crop figs, and main crop figs usually always taste better than breba. So you might not want a tree that produces breba if you're able to give a head start. Okay, and I have many people asking me, well, what if I don't do a head start, but I prolong the season by putting up a greenhouse or doing something at the end of the season? My answer to that is no. The end of the season, especially up in the northern part of the U.S. and Canada, is very wet, and most figs do not like wet. Okay, so always go for early.